Welcome everybody to another IIHF Skills4All session. As you know, we have some housekeeping and Zoom etiquette. You know our three monkeys principle: listen, watch, and stay muted until you want to speak, of course. If you have questions, you can use the chat box and we'll handle your question, pass it to the speaker. Please turn on your camera and make sure your name and country code is visual. Thanks for your cooperation. In our previous Skills4All webinar, we looked at how we get through the pandemic, and even more important, we looked into how do we return to the ICE program. One of the key elements in our return to ICE program is membership development or player recruitment. More than ever, people are looking for activities and a new start. While some sports are locked down due to the restrictions, others are booming. So it's very important that we will be part of this sport offer, because people are looking for activities and occasions, and it will be very important to offer and be part of the sports offer in your community. But even with restrictions, we have to use the opportunities. In a lot of cases, in my country, children under 13-year-old could practice during lockdown. We are in lockdown, but due to the Easter holidays, we can organize hockey camps with restrictions. But I was thinking, because I'm running a hockey camp, actually, I was thinking this morning, it looks even better than a regular season, because we have more ice time available for under 8, under 10, under 12. We have to work station-based, because it's not allowed to be in big groups. We have to work in smaller groups, which is perfect. It's station-based practice in a natural way. We have more coaches available for under 8, under 10, under 12. And what I was thinking this morning, it's so good to say to the parents, no parents allowed in the rig. So it's easy to work with the kids. We can start in time. So there is advantages. And this is also in the case of the recruitment, there is advantages and opportunities that we should use. So I'm very happy that today I can introduce Anders Wallström, who is the Youth and Junior Development Manager of the Swedish Hockey Association. He will present the Swedish recruitment program and the success they had recruiting new players, especially in the girls hockey. Welcome, Anders, and thank you for your cooperation and sharing. You have the floor.
Thank you, Johan. Thanks for inviting me to speak on this topic. I think I'm going to start with sharing my screen and make sure it all works. Okay. To the first slide, Johan?
Yes.
Perfect. As Johan said, my name is Anders Wallström. I'm a manager of the Children and Youth program right now. And I'm going to speak a little bit about what we are doing, both in a normal season. I'm going to introduce you to our recruitment strategy, but I will also say a few words on what we have done and what we are doing when it comes to this COVID-19 past season. I agree on the topic, Johan, actually, that we need to see the opportunity in every difficulty. I mean, as you said, we can hear from a lot of our clubs that one big upside with the pandemic is that the kids have been left alone during practices, and the pressure and the stress that usually are there haven't been there this season. So that's an upside. So a lot of clubs that I talk to, they are thinking about how can they engage the parents in another way than having them sit on the stands and scream, so to speak. So that's one positive thing that I believe will come out of this. As it probably is in most of your countries as well, We believe that we probably have lost some players during this past season. We have actually no idea how big of a harm that the pandemic has struck us with. We won't see the numbers until the next season has started. But what we are talking about here at the Swedish Hockey Association and with our clubs is that we need to have that, we need to work with that in mind, that we probably have lost some players, and we need to do what we can to keep them and bring them back to the ice rink. As I said in the beginning, I will speak a little bit about our normal strategy when it comes to recruitment, and it's mostly amongst the youngest kids. And what we can see and what we think is that's not when the pandemic has struck us hardest. The feeling I have, and when I talk to our clubs, it seems like we have big reasons to be more worried about our teenagers and our junior players. So we are right now talking a lot to our clubs to find ways to re-recruit those target groups. And we're also doing some special activities for our junior elite levels, we say the bottom there. When we think we need to somehow get them to compensate them for the lack of activities that they didn't have this season. But most of all, I mean, as an association or federation at the national level, it's a lot about having the dialogue with our clubs and make sure that they are active in this re-recruitment work that we believe we must do. So that's when we look ahead. What we have done during this spring, at least from November and forward, we worked with this hashtag, which in Swedish is Hockey Hemma. If we translate to English, it's called Hockey at Home. And we have done this to keep the engagement of our players and our clubs and our parents, just to kind of make them stay involved with hockey in another way than what they usually do when we play games and have a lot of practices. Because even in Sweden, as Jan said, we haven't been playing many games at all when it comes to the children and youth level. There was some month where the kids weren't allowed to play or practice ice hockey at the rink. So we would try to get a few stuff done. Most of this has been that we have tried to find different ways to inspire them. What do other clubs do? What do other players do? It's when it comes to training and practice and different strategies from the clubs to keep the players engaged in the game and the parents as well. We've had a lot of quizzes and other fun stuff for different target groups that we have worked a lot with. We saw quite early that one target group that we needed to do some special things for were the referees, because they didn't have any connections to the hockey when they weren't having any games to participate in. So we did some special stuff with them, and then we have had much more webinars on different teams for different target groups than we usually have, and also this kinds of stuff. I think that's another upside with the COVID-19 situation, that most of this we wouldn't have done if it wasn't for the pandemic. I think we will continue doing quite a lot of this. So there are upsides that we just need to take care of. We'll come back at the end to some of what I said right now. Now for a few minutes, I will talk a little bit about our recruitment strategy that we have in a normal season, was been developing over the last 5-6 years, I would say, and we're still developing it because we aren't satisfied with all the parts in it. We made a decision, I think it's about 5 or 6 years ago, and said that the only place where we will use our 3 crowns, except for the national teams, it will be at the hockey school level. And for us, hockey school starts at 5 and continues up until the kids are 9. So at the ages between 5 and 9 years old, we work with this concept called Tre Kronors Hockeyskola, the 3 crowns hockey school. And we are the main partner behind that. And this has been a very, very important thing for us, that this is the only place where we use the crowns. And we know that the kids love wearing that logo on the jerseys. So all the kids that are involved in this this concept, the hockey school, they get a jersey. And we have 5 different colors, blue and yellow, of course, but we also have red and green and pink jerseys. And they can choose what color they want. And that have been a great success. And we have some kids who I believe that sometimes that they only participate because they want the jersey on them. So that has been an important decision for us to use the crowns to recruit young players, actually. What we've been doing for the last 5 years is that we have been sending an invitation letter to all the boys and girls at the age of 5 to 7 years old, where they get an invitation to their nearest hockey club or hockey rink. And at this letter, they have the name of the jersey, as you can see on the letter to the right, and they get some information from the closest club and how they can register to come and try. And we paid for this letter the first years. The 2 years from now, 2 years back from now, we have this as one tool that we offer to our clubs, but they need to pay a little bit of money to get this sent out from every club. But it's been really, really appreciated when it comes to the parents. It will help them talk about ice hockey. It seems like the kids sometimes doesn't really know what hockey is. A few of them, it's more common that they haven't even thought about starting playing ice hockey. But once you get this letter, it gives the parents an opportunity to speak to the kids, and some of them try hockey. So this has been an important thing. From the start of the last season, we put up a web page for our clubs where we put a lot of different tools, some of them that they could print and download, and some of them that they could use just in social media. And I will just show you some of the things that we've done. They can download a few different kinds of posters that they can post at the ice rink, at the schools, or at other public places where it's allowed, where the club can promote their hockey school. Where is it? When is it? For which ages? How do you register? What does it cost? And who will you contact to get in contact with the club, actually? And that's been really, really frequently downloaded. And around Stockholm, when it comes to the month of August, September, October, I can see these posters on quite a few places, actually. Another tool that has been a big success is different kinds of postcards, which you could actually post like a real postcard, but you can also hand them out or spread them digitally to your friends. And it says just, hey friend, come with me and try hockey. It's at this time, at this place, and all you need is this equipment. And I think we have 6 different pictures you can choose from to have this. And a lot of kids, as we know when we look into some of the science around why do you stop playing hockey, it's quite clear that it's because my best friends stop playing, or my siblings stop playing. So that's been an important and quite easy tool to use for the clubs and the kids. So those were two of our download tools. We also have a diploma, which also showed been important when it comes to get something that you can put up on your girl or boy room wall and say, hey, I play hockey for one season. I think that we will probably develop a few more of these tools. And I think it's important that we as a federation or association, that we provide the clubs with a lot of different tools, at least as long as we will have one common concept for the whole Swedish ice hockey when it comes to the hockey school. Because in Sweden we have approximately 350 clubs, and today I think almost 85% of those clubs are part of this concept. We have a few clubs that we need to bring on board still, but we have grown the numbers quite a lot over the last few years. So just to put it at the using the crowns and have all the clubs be part of the same strategy has been a big success for us. When it comes to the social media, I mean, that landscape of social media, as you know, has grown rapidly the last 10 years, and more people are getting used to use social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, a lot of other stuff. So we provided a film, as you can see right here soon. I will show it to you. We have also some other quite easy to use tools, and we're trying to learn the clubs how they can buy marketing from the social media platforms to hit the right target groups that you want to get hit by this, and probably they will hopefully register the kids for your club's hockey school. I will show you this film just shortly. It's just about 1 minute. And Johan, if the sound doesn't work, just say so. Says, will you try hockey? Contact your club or go to the swehockey.se where they can find more information. I would say that I will come back to that quite soon, but we created a special web page for our hockey school where you as a parent can register your kid at. I will show you that soon, but that's been an important choice that I think we will keep on developing. But when it comes to social media, we provide the clubs with a lot of tools, as I said. These are some examples of the banners that they can use. The one to the left says, finally hockey season. Do your kids want to start play hockey? Register on securityhockeyskola.se. The one in the middle says, you want to try hockey? Register on that same web address. And the one to the right says, so the hockey school starts for kids born those ages, and register here. And we have, I think, 10 different banners of this. And another thing that we worked quite a lot with. I forgot to say that when it comes to the invitation letter that we send out, and is that we send out that letter in I think it's six different languages, so that we could recruit from other target groups than just the common ones. Because in Sweden, hockey is quite a homogeneous, if you say homogeneous in English, group. It's most Swedish guys, Swedish-born guys and girls, mostly guys, with parents from the same social group when it comes to economy and all of that. So we need to bring in some different perspectives. So we have put up with this myth and here it says to the left, hockey is just for boys, but that's a false statement. In our club, both boys and girls can participate. Read more here. In the middle, it says it's really, really expensive to start playing hockey. But that's also false. Hockey can be expensive, but in the beginning, it's good enough with just skates and helmet and a club and some other gears. And it's almost always possible to get on the second-hand market. And to the right, it says you need to start early and really, really do practice a lot in the beginning if you're going to be a professional player. And that's, as you know, always also false. You can start a little bit later. So we have had quite a good spread of this. It's been a discussion in most of the clubs that, hey, are hockey actually just for boys, or are the girls welcomes? Do we need to send signals to other target groups and make them come here? So we will keep on developing these kinds of myth crushers, or what I should call them. Now we have the biggest part of this. It's the web page, iihfhockey.se, and that's a web page both for information about the hockey school and a place where you register. And once you're registered, the club gets that information, and they get their player license, and all of that are automatically done. And each club gets a unique URL that they can share in their social media channels, and that's been a really, really important thing, that we, from this common web page, can give all of our 350 clubs one unique URL that they can use in their marketing towards their target groups. And we are right now rebuilding the site for I don't know which time. I think since I started, the third time that we rebuild it. Says start play hockey, register here. And once I have this slide up, I will say that despite from our national teams, it's quite obvious that our partners, our sponsors, they are really, really interested in being associated with the hockey school. So it's the hockey school is also important for our marketing department to get new sponsors and new partners on board at Swedish Hockey. So we work quite close with them as well when it comes to developing the hockey school, actually. Once you click on the register here, you type in your postal code, and once you've done that, you get the 3 clubs or 3 ice rinks that are closest to where you live, and you can choose from those 3 which one you would like to register for. In this case, it was Hammarby IF in Stockholm, and you scroll down and you come to this first step of register when you print in your player's name, if you're a boy or girl, when you're born, and what nationality you have. Then you type in your contacts as a parent, and you can also here click in the boxes if you like to be part of the staff around the team, if you can help in some way outside the rink, or if you can help on the rink, or both. So that's how easy we actually try to do it. And we are right now developing it. So if you go to hockeyskola.se right now, it just says that's under reconstruction. But from the 1st of May, this will be up working, and we can start to get the players to register for the next upcoming season. So this has been important, and we are still, as I said, developing it. What we can see over the last 5 years, the effects we can see, and we're strongly believing that it's true, and it's because of this strategy. It's that more and more clubs joins this concept, as I said, of the hockey school. We have almost 85% of them now. We are really looking forward to the day that all our clubs are joining the same concept, because we think that makes Swedish hockey stronger, actually. We can see, as John said in the beginning, a lot more girls are coming to us. And one key factor for that is that we can provide the clubs with some funding if they do some special activities for girls. We know that one key factor is if they can give the girls an own ice time of their own, even though they are just 5 or 6 girls in the beginning. That's where it all starts. If you mix the groups, and the girls are very few compared to how many boys there are, it's not a way that will work for most of the clubs. But if you give them a nice time of their own, even though they are just 5 or 6, they can grow from that. And that's how we have been working for the last 5 years. And we can see that we have grown the girls game with almost 200% compared to 5 years ago. At the same time, more boys are starting for every year. So I wouldn't say that we have a recruiting problem. We will see after this pandemic season if we have that. But we're quite confident that what we're doing, what the clubs are doing, works quite well. We also believe that one key factor to get quality when it comes to what the clubs are doing is the special education program that we have for coaches who are at this level for the kids between 7 or 5 years of age. It's kind of an extra education that's not really part of our usual coach education program. But most of them who starts here, they continue following their girls or boys up their ages as well. So these are the upsides of this strategy. But we lose too many players when the hockey school transitions into teens. It's like we have the first career transition here. We lose almost 1/3 of the girls and almost 1/5, around 20% of the boys. And we have our thoughts on why that is, and we'll try to work with that. One thing is we think that if you aren't good enough at that stage, the coaches are too eager to win games. So they just don't care about these players aren't there yet. So we need to work on this a lot. At the same time, as we have grown the game for the youngest, we see that we lose more players than ever around the ages of 16 to 20 years old. So maybe it's those two scenarios are connected. Maybe they drop out early because they started earlier. We don't know that quite for sure, but that's what we think. And we still do work hard to increase the numbers of girls. Because even if we've grown the game for them almost 200%, we are too few to get them a really good education program. So that's what we will focus hard on the coming 2 years, both when it comes to grow the numbers of girls starting to play, but also when it comes to developing those who are in the hockey, and hopefully we will be up there competing with Canada, USA, and Finland in a few years as well. If I should close this up and come back to where I started, I think when it comes to the past season, if we call it the COVID season, I think we need to work harder than ever with the recruitment. I said that we do some things towards the clubs when it comes to re-recruiting. I think that's will be really, really important. I think we need to start now, or we should have started a few months ago. And if you guys haven't done that, I think it's about time. We can't wait until fall. I mean, there are so many other activities for the kids that we compete with to win them to ice hockey. I mean, I hear stories from some of our clubs where they couldn't play hockey inside in the rinks, and the soccer season or the football season had okay to play outside in the winter. They choose to play football instead. So I think we need to work hard with both with the ones who actually left during this last season, but also when we start doing this hard work, why not look a few years more back and contact those players that you had? I mean, maybe they have changed your mind, because in general, I believe the clubs are too poor to ask the players if they want to come back. We'll let them leave too easy sometimes. As a federation, I don't know how many of you guys out there work at the federation, but I think it's important that we can provide them with a bunch of tools for recruitment. At least we can see that if we can make it easier for the clubs to recruit, it will help them a lot. It's not necessary for each club to invent the wheel over and over again. We see what works, and we try to pick up great ideas from the clubs and make them to common knowledge and make them to tools for everyone to use. As I said in the beginning, we saw when we just sent out that letter to all the 5 to 7 year olds, some clubs relied so much on that letter that they stopped doing some active recruitment work on their own. And we can see just the difference from 2 years ago when they started to use these other tools that we provide them with, that the clubs who really were active in those activities, they grow their numbers a lot more than those who just relied on the letters. So I think it's an important signal from us as a federation to send, but also when we talk to the clubs, that they actually work hard with recruiting and re-recruiting this upcoming season. Another thing that I talk a lot about to our club members and the board members of the clubs is that don't mix up what's the goal line and what's the finish line. I believe, as it is in many projects, that once you're done with your recruitment, you think you're finished. But I will just send you that message that, at least from our perspective, it's important to tell the clubs that once the kids and the parents come to the rink, that's when it all starts. That's when you have the possibility to catch them. That's not the finish line. That's actually the starting line of their hockey career. Sometimes I can see clubs they're so happy with all the recruitment activities that they've done that they kind of forget about the quality of the first few times of practice where they are there to try. I mean, that's where you choose if you will be a hockey girl or a hockey guy. If the first times are boring, or you aren't seen, you aren't heard, you probably won't come back the next time. So the first few times are the most important ones, and make sure it's fun. And if you want to learn more about fun, I think some of you guys probably heard Amanda Visek speak or Heather Manick speak. Heather at US Hockey nowadays, and we are working quite hard with both Heather and actually Amanda to do an own fun map study to make sure that we know what the kids mean when they say it's fun. So we know what ingredients we need to have at our practices and amongst our team staffs so that they make it fun. And it's not only to count smiles, as we know. It's a lot of other things that make hockey fun. But it's really, really important that it is fun, because if it's not fun, they won't come back. So if you want to learn a little bit more about fun, I will just say that Google hashtag fun maps and you find some great stuff. And the last take-home message that I believe is really, really important, that is to educate the coaches. We have the possibility to give a free education for 2 days for up to 4 coaches per club a year. And we can see that more and more coaches join this program, and we keep on developing it. But that's really, really key factor to make sure that the practices are fun. Because if we fail there, all the recruitment job aren't worth nothing. So that's probably the most important thing, that have great coaches on and off the rink or the ice around each team. And it's important, I mean, not everyone needs to be great skaters or have great hockey skills. I mean, you need to have other competences around the team as well. And we work quite a lot to get both dads and moms around the team, so that the climate around the teams will be as good as it can be. It's much harder to get the moms on board, because most of them think they must be good skaters and have played hockey on their own. But that's not necessary, not at this age at least. So Johan, I think I stop there.
Thank you, Anders. We have a question, and it's an obvious question. It's about the letter. I think the letter is the most easiest and simple way of recruitment, just addressing the message to the kids or the parents saying, hey, would you be interested to come? But of course, the first question, how do you get all the addresses, and is it legal to send those letters?
Yeah, it's legal. You can buy those letters from some government place. I'm not exactly sure from where we buy it, but we know it's legal. And we have a company that we work with who helps us get these addresses.
Okay, so it is important because we all know the GDPR rules nowadays, and we have to keep it in mind. But I think there is solutions, and there is a legal way to send those letters. You have been using this letter, and as you said, you use 6 languages to reach more people and to make your message pass through. But still, you change something because you start working with social media, you start working a website. Why is that?
Because we see that more and more people are getting used to using social media, and the possibility that we have nowadays that we can buy marketing towards different target groups. It will make it easier actually for the clubs to use that, and it will be much cheaper. Yeah.
So, and you can reach directly to your target group.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so one more thing is that we can have the best strategy, planning, communication, but then it comes down to execution. So I see that you guys make your club responsible for execution. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of key. It starts with the poster, but it ends in a club who is active and working hard to make recruitment happen.
Exactly, but recruitment doesn't happen on their own. It's not the poster. I mean, you need to be active in different channels, both digitally, social media, and probably physically in some ways as well. So we can see that quite clearly that the clubs who are active with the recruiting activities are much more successful than those who just sent a letter.
Yeah. So I think another message out of your presentation is that we are not sure and numbers are not clear. So we are waiting. It's not a good idea to wait until the next season, because that's what we kind of say. Let's see what happens at the beginning of the season. No. But you named it re-recruiting. So if you say re-recruiting, it actually starts now.
Yeah, it should have started already, I believe, because if the longer time it goes, the more far away from hockey they come. So I think for our clubs, and the message that we send to them is really they must start. If they haven't started already, they must start now to get the kids back.
Yeah, I will wrap up. Unless there is other questions, you can still post your questions in the chat with one of the quotes you mentioned. You said it's about the values and how important it is for them. Is that a good quote?
Yeah, we're actually trying to find out right now what are really the differences between the clubs that are successful when it comes to recruiting, especially girls, and compared to those clubs who aren't successful. Are they just that they don't care, or are they just lack of competence? We think that the values around whose hockey is for and the norms are really important here. Because if you don't want to recruit in a broader way in different target groups, you aren't doing it. So to speak about what hockey is, who it's for, is really important. I think that's, as always, I almost said it always starts there with your values and why you do things, why you aren't doing things.
Okay, great. Thank you, Anders. So far, I have no more questions for you. Thank you for a great presentation, and thank you for sharing this information. We will now go to the next step in this presentation. So if you stop sharing the presentation, I can, yes, okay. So I will share. So do you see the mind map? I hope you can see the mind map. So what we will discuss now is just an example, because you will start using this tool later in this webinar. So this is a Jamboard, which we call, it's a mind map. It just as an example what we did in Belgium with restriction within COVID. So at one moment there was a big restriction, and it was a very simple one. COVID-19, indoor and outdoor sport are closed. Only outdoor sport was allowed in your own bubble. So that means the only thing you can do is like walking. So people are looking for activities to do in their own bubble. So it's about families. So we thought, if this is the limitation, we just have to react, and we have to create an activity in which we can get in contact with families and kids. We can create fun activities related to the game of hockey, because to me, it's about storytelling. It's what Anders just said. It's you have to inform people who we are, what we do, and why we do it. So the only activity that was pretty much possible was cycling or walking. So we organized Hockey Walk. So it is about participation for children and parents. We would use urban tools, because you can find those things in nature, but also a lot of cities have a lot of urban tools which can be used for physical activities. And to make it a quality program, we would use the principle of long-term player development in a way that we explain people why we do things. It's not just activity, there is an idea behind. So it all starts with an invite and communication. So we create social media events. We work together with the local tourism office and the local sports office, because now there is a moment in which you have a quality product which can be shared with the community. And it's an easy way to make promotion for your sport by going to the local tourist office and the local sport office, because they are also looking for activities. Of course, we work through schools, but also an important contact center nowadays is COVID center and vaccination center. People need to wait a long time over there. There is in-house entertainment. So this is a good occasion to get your message across, and there is a lot of people you can reach over there. To start working with this program and to keep the budget low, we made a downloadable map and guide, so everything can be downloaded from the website or our social media platform. There we provide a link to the club website, and we would use for the activities a cell phone and your QR code in order that you can just scan the QR code in order to know what the next challenge would be. In extension, we provide result sheets if you want to make it a competition between families. So this is just the idea. As Anders also said, we have to start with a strategy and a planning. So where do we start? So of course, our idea was we start at the rink, because we want to bring the people to the point of sales. This is where we sell our program. We sell our program at an ice rink because this is where we play. So we were thinking it's a good idea to bring the people to the place where they can skate later. We cannot skate today, but later we can skate. So departure at the rink, and it's easy because we also have a parking lot. Of course, we have to inform people so they get information through the app. What is an ice rink? How is it working? And how is the game played? We don't have to reinvent the wheel because we have a lot of information available, which is like YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel with the IIHF, and you can find how to play ice hockey, introduction to ice hockey. That means that you can just use those links and inform people. Of course, we need to create some activities at the rink, outdoor. So we constructed a ball hockey rink made from pallets. These pallets were donated by a parent, which is the cost of these pallets is zero. It's just finding people who can help you constructing it. We build our own shooting stand. It looks a little bit fancy. Kids are shooting at washing machines to make it a little bit exciting, and just give them the opportunity to use a stick and to just try it. It's about the experience. It's about how is it working? How easy? How complicated? Same time, we have like those box hockey tools in which kids can play some box hockey or some stick handle circuit. This is about the local activity. Then the walk start, and this is the activity. It's based on the principles of physical development, cognitive development, motor skills, emotional development, and social development. As said, principles of long-term player development. It's about agility, balance, coordination. We can use different surfaces. This is all tools you find in your city or in the nature nearby. This is just some pictures that I took in my hometown. This is all just available. It's public place. So natural, it's use of natural and urban elements to explain your story. As an example, you can have a stairs and a bench. So how do we explain a hockey shift? Let the kids run like for 30 seconds, up and down, and then sit on the bench for 30 seconds. Run up and down again for 30 seconds, sit on the bench. This feels like hockey. This is what hockey players do. We can challenge parents and kids. This is the long track for the parents, short track for the kids. Let's make races. In a sport, races and sprints are important. We can have 2 feet a long jump. And with some indication like this animal in nature is jumping 3 meters. How far can you jump? So we create simple challenges, which is fun. Anders mentioned it already. It's fun for families and it's connected to who you are, ice hockey. So at the end, the kids come back to the rink. There they can make their poster. They can share it on social media, and we call it Hello Hockey. Hello, this is hockey and you participated. So you did it. This picture will be shared on social media or on the website. So you will bring those people to your social media. You will bring them to the website, as Anders mentioned. Here is your information. Here you can connect it. And you will get the next invite, because it's interesting to do this event. We get connected to people now, but when do we see you again? Because we do all this to get them into our next activity, which can be learn to skate, try hockey, or summer camp. And as already mentioned, there is a big opportunity. It doesn't need to be on the ice all the time. Our summer camp for the kids is without skates. It is just summer camp. Kids are looking for activities, and to us, it's a great opportunity to get children into our sport. As mentioned, it is based on the principles of long-term player development. So this is just an example on how this mind map works. So you can create your own event, you can create your own planning and strategy, and this is what we will use now as a feedback tool to our breakout rooms. So you see over here, there is this sticky note mark. So if you click on it, you can just put a note and then it is there. So this is what we will use as a feedback tool when we go into the breakout rooms now. So we will divide, you are already divided in different breakout rooms. I will show you, we have pages. So everybody received an email with a link. If you cannot open the link right now, it's not a big deal, because you can keep on using the link after this seminar. It is important that in your breakout room, you have one scriber, one person that is taking notes. You can put it immediately into the Jamboard. If this is not working, you can always complete the Jamboard later. We will make a total summary of all the different Jamboards from the discussion groups, and this will be provided after the seminar. So this is an example of one of the Jamboards where you will go to. So this is the first question. What do you think is essential in your recruitment program? Second question, what would bring the best result into your opinion? So you can use the sticky notes as mentioned and just collect them around the question. Next page. Some of your recruitment, what would be a very good idea in your opinion to do now, just before the season? And as Anders mentioned, what would be good activities or good ideas to use for communication or for experiences? And then it is about the experiences. What kind of experience would you organize in terms of recruitment to get started? So I will show you again. If you click on the sticky note sign, you can say whatever you want to say, accept, and then close, and then you can put it wherever you want with the question. So this brings us to the moment. We will divide you into some small discussion groups now. You have a discussion for about 20 minutes. Just if you can open, if one of you could open the Jamboard, that would be fine. If it's not possible to open the Jamboard, that's fine as well, because as mentioned, you can use the link also after the webinar. It would be good that we have feedback, because that's the only feedback that we will get today. It would be good that we get the feedback after the webinar, or that one of your scribers would fulfill this small task, because after the breakout rooms, we come back in the main room, but then we will not have time for reflection. So the reflection of today and the feedback need to come from the Jamboards. So I will ask Mika to divide you and to start the breakout rooms, and then we can start the discussion. All back from our breakout rooms. I hope you had a good discussion. In order to give you some inputs about the chat rooms, we will make a summary of the Jamboards. I've seen that you haven't been using the Jamboards yet, but take your time after this webinar and try the link. It should work. If it's not working, drop me a note by email. It is worth trying it and just testing it, because we will also use this tool in other webinars. So it is not too late, and the Jamboards will stay open, so you can make your own, or the scribers can put in or give input to the Jamboards what they discussed in their room. So to conclude, I want to thank Anders Wallström. He had to leave because he was having another meeting at 4 o'clock. So he did a great presentation from the Swedish Ice Hockey Association and what I do. I hope this inspired you and give you some ideas. I want to thank you for your time and participation. And as we always say, it's good to follow the webinar, but it's even better to use the information and reflect on what you can do and take away from this session and start using in your own work tomorrow. Let us know if you need help or support. And we know recruitment is a lot of work, but for sure, it's really worth doing it. You know our slogan, just make it happen. Next Skill for All will be planned in the next week and days. So we will communicate the topics and the dates by the beginning of next week. This webinar is recorded and you will find the recording in a couple of days because it needs to be edited on the website. You go to the development hub, scroll down to the quick links and then select webinars. There you can find the recordings and you can review all webinars that we have up till now. If there are any more questions, then this concludes the session for today. Any more questions?
You can come with it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
No more questions. Then thank you for your attention and hope to see you in our next webinar. Have a nice day.